All right, guys, first call of April. I am so excited. I wanted to quickly go over the team calendar for this month. It will be up after this call because, I'm a little behind still. We're still on DR time around here. But some things to remember for this month. Obviously, tomorrow we kick off our test group for gut protocol. Super excited about that. If you missed the call at 7, I will post the recordings every week. I know it's tough with bedtimes for some of y'all, but be there as much as you can, be in the message pod as much as you can. It was really cool to just spend some time and go over what we're excited about, nervous about, questions about, all that good stuff. Some other things this month, the summit tickets are still on sale, which Allie and I have 4 rooms. And I know we are talking with Amanda about this as well. We want to fill those rooms. So if you haven't committed, do it now because Summit's going to be here before we know it. And we're in Q2 officially as of April. So everything we do these next 3 months, you get recognized for at Summit. So now's the time to go all in, get your booty there. I'm excited to go to a new city in St. Louis. Our hotel's right at like the ballpark by the big arch and all the fun stuff. Another thing is the bike is on sale through the 11th, which is awesome. I know Allie was sharing some good tips that she was talking to someone about. So hopefully she can do like a live video or something about that this week and share a little bit more about it. But definitely a way to get a lifer on board because when you commit to a bike, you're here for life. Like you're all in with body, you're all in with bod, you're not going anywhere. So I want to continue to have that conversation and for more of us to have that in our back pocket as another tool. And then the last thing for this month is Super Weekend is coming up at the end of the month. So if you are getting, well, you should be getting to your local event. If you still don't feel comfortable with that, host one in your area, get some girls together, make it a thing. I am hosting a little Philly get together for our team to do kind of a mini retreat because I personally didn't feel comfortable yet to go into a full room of hundreds of people at the time. So I decided to do a little mini retreat. So if you're around Philly, you want to come to that, you are totally invited. And the Friday before Super Weekend Summit selections will open up. So this is really the month to be like, let's freaking go. Let's get aligned to our own journeys. Let's go all in with a test group. And there's no one I could think better than to have on our call tonight is Amanda. And if you guys do not know her, she is a part of our larger team. So one of my friends, Maggie, that went to Virginia Tech with me, Amanda is in her downline on her team. And we just kind of connected when Amanda started coaching because I just knew that she was going to go all in. Like you could just get a sense with people that they're here to build. They want a team. They want more for their family. And it was so like full circle for me to see her with her husband in Dominican on their first trip and just like realizing how special this opportunity is. And I know for many of you, you're moms and you're like, I don't know how to balance all of this. And I don't know how to tell you to do that all of the time because I'm not there yet. So whenever I feel our team kind of needs some extra that maybe I can't serve through, or, you've heard from Allie tons of times, like we're broken records, sometimes a fresh voice is good to come in and just say like, hey, you can do this because I'm doing it. And this is how I'm making it work. So Amanda, would love for you to kind of introduce yourself a little bit and then share how you're making it happen because she's a mom of 2 and she also helps her husband run different businesses as well. So she's not sitting around either and she's making this work. So take it away and I will give you the floor.
All right, guys. I just always have to like put this out there. And then once I put it out there, I usually do great. My hands are sweating and my heart is pounding and I'm a little nervous. And then once I just put that energy out there, I'm usually good to go with things. So I am in Maggie's downline. I started in March of 2020. I've known Maggie for a while. I followed Maggie since 2018. And she was pregnant with her first baby at the exact same time I was pregnant with my first baby. They're a month apart. And So basically, Maggie's at home, being pregnant, getting everything together, running this business. And I'm sitting at work in this 9 to 5, 40-hour job that I less than love. And I'm just like watching. I'm just watching. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool for her, but that could probably never be me. Then I watched her have her baby and a traumatic C-section. And then a month later, I had a traumatic C-section. And I just continued to watch for the next 2 years. I continued to watch her income grow, her business get bigger. And then in March of 2020, my second baby, she was 3 months old, and COVID was like coming at us full swing. And I had a different job that I was closer to loving. I kind of took this job because it felt more like a middle ground between what I was doing and what you guys are doing with Beachbody. Kind of felt like that create your own schedule, maybe work from home, but it just wasn't full into network marketing yet. So we were meeting people, for lunches, going to job sites at their house. And when COVID were scared us all, I was like, we're going to buckle down for 2 weeks. And 2 weeks turned into 2 years. And in that 2 weeks, Maggie reached out and she was like, do you want to do this challenge group with me? And finally I said yes. And I responded and I was like, but actually teach me a little bit about coaching, because I just went from income to no income, and, a little bit of extra money never hurt anyone. And that's how I got started. And somewhere in that 2 weeks, turned to 2 years. And in the first 3 months, Lucas and I sat down and we did some numbers, and I was like, all right, if I bring home this amount of money, I don't have to go back to work. And so slowly over time, over those 2 years, I started to create that life that I love, that life that I used to watch Maggie have, that I was like, that could never be me. And things are full circle. Like when I'm going on this trip, and I used to watch Maggie go on these trips and Danielle go on these trips before I even knew who these people were. And then I'm on them. It is a very full circle moment. So one of the things that I feel is like the most asked question when I think about the last 2 years of this business is, how do you stay consistent, right? Like, how do you keep doing the things that kind of feel monotonous, the things that aren't so jazzy and exciting all of the time? And so I just want to help you become more aware of maybe some things that are in your way that maybe you don't realize fully yet, and then give you some tactical things to be able to work through them. So for a lot of you guys, for a lot of people starting out in Beachbody, this is the side hustle, right? Like this is that extra thing. This is that thing that you're not relying on to pay the bills. It's kind of just a bonus. And so when things are a bonus, it is very easy that when life happens, you put the bonus on the back burner, right? Like, oh, my kids are sick today, business isn't going to happen. Or, oh, the work was crazy today, so this isn't going to happen. And so what that creates in this business is a lot of start and stop and start and stop, and a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of restriction, right? Not restriction, just whatever the word I'm looking for. A lot of friction, we'll go with that word. Friction. And it's very hard to work through that, right? It's very hard to feel like you're getting a little bit of momentum and then things just come to a halting stop. And so how do you get through that, right? Like, how do you start making this business the non-negotiable? And for me, it's realizing that negative core self-belief, right? Like that negative story that we're telling ourselves. And guys, the thing about stories that we tell ourselves is oftentimes we don't even realize that we're telling it to ourselves. It's just that brain on subconscious running those thoughts through. And before you know it, we've like fully talked ourselves out of something that we deep down want to do, but there's somewhere in there's a values conflict. So for me, what that would look like is when I would be with my kids, I would feel this tug on my heart that I needed to be working my business. When I would be working my business, I would feel this tug on my heart like I needed to be with my kids. And that is not fun to go through, and you can put on a facade and you can kind of fake it until you make it. But eventually that friction is going to catch up with you, and you're going to have to figure out where that's coming from, what story it is that you're telling yourself. So for me, it was, I can't be a stay-at-home mom and a successful entrepreneur, right? So when I look at, Instagram and I see other stay-at-home moms, so many of them don't have that business that they want to run. They're not multi-passionate. They don't have that other thing going on. They're just dedicated to their kids. And so they are like making all the best meals. They are like doing the preschool drop off. Like they've got the cute clothes. They're going to hot yoga. Like they're doing all of these things. And it's like, well, if that's not my story, then I'm not a good stay-at-home mom. And then I look at the business women and I'm like, well, if I'm not dressed like this businesswoman and I don't have this office and I don't have this income and I don't have this, this story of whatever I'm telling myself because she's got it and I don't have it, then I'm not a good, entrepreneur either. Right. And so that's not fun, right? You've got to figure out where that's coming from. And I realized that, and I'm going to give you guys some tactical tips to maybe work through your own stories after I get through this. But stories are typically just something we're telling ourselves. The fact is I'm a stay-at-home mom, and the fact is I'm an entrepreneur. But the story doesn't have to be, if I can't do one, I can't do the other, right? Like that is just the lie that I'm telling myself. And so, let's scroll through my notes. When I realized that I couldn't be the best mom without the practices that this business was giving me, it changed the whole story, right? So how many of us have to work out to be a better mom? I know I do. How many of us need to fill our brains with something positive throughout the day? I know I do, okay? How many of us need to fill our bodies with some nutrition so that we feel better throughout our day? Me, okay? So without those practices of the business, I'm not going to be the best stay-at-home mom. And that completely changed the energy that I brought to my business, because now it was no longer two things fighting each other. Now it was two things totally aligned with each other. Okay. So I don't know how many of you guys are, faith women that believe in God, but I certainly am. Okay. And so I believe that my Heavenly Father gave me this business to be the best mom. And so that the facts didn't change. I'm still a stay-at-home mom. I'm still a businesswoman. Okay. But now the story that I'm telling myself about these two facts is completely different. And since the story is different, now the actions are different. Now the energy is different. Now I can go on and do, it's aligned for me now. Okay. So that is the first thing I think in staying consistent is you have to start recognizing those stories. Maybe some stories in your head are, I can't be successful if I don't have a large following. I can't be successful if sales don't come super easy to me. Like maybe you see someone out there and like they're hitting like Success Club 50 every month. And you're like, well, I can't even hit Success Club 10 consecutively. So since that's not my story, I can't be successful. Or, whatever it is, there's always the fact. And then there's the story that you tell yourself. So if you guys brought a pen or a piece of paper or anything, write down fact, because there's always a fact. And the thing about facts is they are neutral. There's neutral. It's just, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a businesswoman. There's no feelings behind that. The next thing is the story. And this is typically there. I listen to a lot of Josh Coates. So we have a head story and we have a heart story. Typically, the stories we tell ourselves are coming from our head, not from our heart. And so that's the part that we've got to get to and start rewriting. But there's the fact, there's the story, there's the feelings that then come from the story. So maybe you're telling yourself like, maybe the fact is I sent a message to someone and they didn't respond. That's the fact. The story you then tell yourself about that fact is, well, because they didn't respond, I said something wrong. Because they didn't respond, I'm just not good at this. Because they didn't respond, I'm not doing something right. Because they did something wrong, or because they didn't respond, I'm just not cut out for this. That's the story that would typically come from that fact. What feelings does that create? If you start telling yourself this story, negative feelings, you start, getting down on yourself, the mental spiral. I mean, you can just, you guys have probably been there. So the feelings that then come from that story. What actions then come from those feelings? Well, if you're feeling down on yourself, you're probably just going to do a bunch of other things and act like you're too busy and then not send any more invites, right? You're going to like do everything else on your tracker except for talk to more people because that one person didn't respond and you don't feel like you're successful and that created negative feelings. And so now we're just hiding. So because now we've stopped our action, that's the only fact we have, right? Yeah, this is good stuff. So, and then and so there's fact, story, feelings, action, manifest. So if that is the story you're telling yourself, and those are the feelings and those are the actions, you cannot manifest a business that you feel good about. Won't happen. So how do you change that? You have to go back up to that story. You have to get out of your head. You have to get into your heart. And what if you just said that these invites and talking to people is like, it's like a experiment. It's just a science experiment, right? Some people are going to respond. Some people are not. That person didn't. Let's just keep talking. It's just an experiment. It's nothing personal. It's not because I said anything wrong. That person is probably when I messaged them, their kid threw up and their husband walked in the door in a bad mood. And now they just don't have time to respond to me. Like there's so many other stories we could tell ourselves as to why that person didn't respond that have nothing to do with something wrong with us. Okay. So then if I tell myself that story, that's just an experiment. And I'm going to, not get down on myself. I'm going to start talking from my heart. I'm going to speak from hope and love and faith, and I'm going to keep going. That's creating different feelings, right? My energy is still good. What actions does that create? That creates talking to people, sending more invites, staying more consistent, getting some responses, getting more ignored. Like, people ignore me all day long. I wish people knew how much I got ignored. I wish people knew how much I got told no. But because the story I tell myself is probably a little bit different than the story that some of you are telling yourselves, I have different actions and I can manifest a business that I feel confident in. Okay. So it's those 5 things that I really want you to write down. All right. The next thing that I got, habits, community, and belief. And then I'm going to wrap it up and put a bow on it for you guys. But habits goes right along with staying consistent, right? If you want to stay consistent, you've got to have good habits. I just got out of a push group this past week. I came home from the Dominican Republic and I got into a Josh Coates push group, and it was life-changing. And here are some of the things that they said. Habits, right? Take no talent. So I don't know, maybe in all caps somewhere, write TNT. Okay. Because it takes no talent. Okay. Habits are a choice, and a choice takes no talent. So when you wake up in the morning, are you hitting snooze or do you get up on that first alarm? That is a choice. And that choice every day becomes your habit. And it takes no talent. There is the person who wakes up on the first alarm and the person who wakes up on the 15th alarm, there's no talent that separates them. It is just a choice that is a habit. When you get up, okay, is the first thing you do is turn on the news and listen to negative things and fill your brain and just start to live in this scarcity mindset, essentially, okay? Is that the first thing you do? Or is the first thing you do put on a podcast, right? And listen to some good things, or open a book and start reading things that motivate you and inspire you. And is the first thing you do, open your Bible and talk to God. Are you talking, sorry if you're not into this, but are you talking to God before you scroll Facebook? Like that takes no talent. That is a choice that then becomes your habit. What are you filling your body with throughout the day? All right. I know we're all about to do this gut program. Okay. That is a choice. The person who leans in and does gut protocol 100% is no more talented than the person who doesn't. It is a choice. And that choice becomes your habit. I heard this person say one time, and it'll probably forever stick with me because I love it. I want my coaches, like when I would talk to them, I want to say, are you drinking your shakes and are you drinking your Energize? Because I am, and I am running with this business. And if you want to keep up with me, you better be filling your body with good things. So it's And going back to the mom thing, going back to being any kind of person on here that has any other career out there that they're passionate about. Do you want to feel your best throughout the day? Like, it is just a choice. And that choice becomes a habit. And again, it takes no talent. All right. When you look at the person, I know we all have Instagram and we're all following someone that we really look up to. That person is no more talented than you. When you look at the people in this business who are succeeding, who are on fire, and you look at the people that are waiting to see that success, it's not talent that separates them. It is their habits. It is their choices. That is it. It is their energy that they're showing up with, the stories they're telling themselves, and the habits that they're creating for themselves. And it is all a choice. And again, it takes no talent. So anyone can do it. You can do it. You are so capable of becoming consistent. The next thing is community. Choosing a community. Okay. Again, this is a choice. So it takes no talent to choose the people you surround yourself with. When you look at the circle of people that you're around, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? Are they talking about their goals, how they want to get there, even if they're scary? Like, are they putting that energy out there? Are they talking about what they want out of their life? Are they talking about how they're going to get closer to it? Are they talking, with abundance, with gratitude, with all the things that you wish kind of to have? Like, are you around people that you admire? Or are you talking about people who are complaining about carpool, who are talking about somebody else, who are gossiping, who are in, just the circle of drama, because that energy is contagious. Community is everything, and choosing one that serves you is everything. And this is kind of hard. This is hard. I'm not saying that none of this is hard. It can be hard. Okay. But again, you can do hard things. The hard part about community is that when you start this business, and then when you get rolling and you get into it and you feel your own life start to change, your community might change. Okay. Because people who are drama filled and people who are, just into gossip and don't have goals for their life, don't really understand what their purpose is, and aren't taking steps to figure it out, those people are probably not going to want to hang out with me, because I'm probably going to ask them, what do you want out of your life? And how are you getting closer to that? And if they start talking about people, I'm probably going to start giving that person that they want to crap talk on the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm probably going to say, well, like, that's just their own internal things. And, you can't take that. And they don't want that. They don't want that. They just want to keep the cycle going. So those people are probably not going to want to hang out with me. And those people, after you start to feel the ripple effect of that personal development, that's your new habit, they might not want to hang out with you either. And you have to become okay with that. Sometimes that's family. Sometimes that's people that used to be close friends. I have lost some people in my life that used to be some of my closest friends, but it's because with growth comes separation. And so if you want to grow and you want to keep going and you want to become the best version of yourself, you have to trust that sometimes God will remove people from your life for a good reason. All right. Habits are a choice. Community is a choice. And again, it takes no talent. So the last thing I've got for you guys is belief. And I'm not really saying belief, in yourself, because, when you come into this thing and you're building and it's not really consistent yet, and you're really looking for that sweet spot, it can be really tough to believe in yourself when you've never done it before. All right. If you've never run a 6-figure business before, which I don't have, I'm not saying that I have, but that is a goal. Like, 6 figures is a goal that will happen, but I've never done that before. So it's really tricky to believe that I could build a 6-figure business when I've never built a 6-figure business. Okay. But I am talking about belief that you want something more for your life than you have right now. Right? Like, we're all on this call at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night because something inside of us wants something more than we currently have right now. right? You believe that for your life. You're not on this call by chance. I don't think anything happens by chance, but you believe that your life is meant for more. And so many things have come full circle for me. This is not in my notes, but just like a tangent. Like if I look back through, I have like notes that people wrote me on my wedding day, and someone really close to me on my wedding day wrote me, they said, you have the gift of life inside of you. And another person was talking about like my life and what they believed it was for. And like, if I really like thought about my life and stopped being scared of it, I do believe that I want more for my life, right? And I think all of you are on this call because you believe that too. You believe somewhere inside of you that something more is possible. And so you have to start tapping into that belief and learning to not feel bad about it. And you have to start talking confidently about it. Okay. And let me tell you, everyone thinks that confidence breeds action, but it's the other way around. Action breeds confidence. And so if you go back up to those 5 things I told you, you have the fact, you have the story, you have the feelings, you have the action. Okay. That little bit of action that you do is going to create a little bit of confidence. And that little bit of confidence is going to give you enough to do a little bit more action. And that little bit more action is going to be a little bit more confident. And so over time, you're going to learn how to talk about your belief with confidence. So you've got to stop feeling bad about it, because let me tell you, you start putting this energy out into the world around the wrong people, around the wrong community, and they will try to make you feel bad about it. They will try to make you feel bad about it. And you just have to you have to get that, like that thicker skin, that confidence going. You have to get that story straight so that you can keep doing the action. And you have to breathe confidence over your belief for your life. Like this, I know I'm going to have a 6-figure business one day. Don't have it right now. Hardly have a 5-figure business. But one day, man, I'll have a solid 6-figure business. And no one's going to make me feel bad about that. People will try, but I'm not going to let them. Okay. This might get a little faithy here at the end, but you have to realize that when you decided to build this business, God already knew that. He knows you. He knit you together. He knows how many hairs are on your head, right? He knows you. He knows where you want to go. And he knows where you're running from, right? He knows all that baggage. He knows all those things behind, all those negative stories that you're telling yourself why you're not good enough. He already knows that. He knows the facts, okay? And he still meets you exactly where you are. And he says, girl, we got places to go. Like, let's go. We can do this, okay? And so you don't have to know how, right? You don't have to know the hows, but you know and you believe that you want something more. And that is awesome. That is awesome, because I tell you, people wish that they had that belief in their own life. And you have to remember that happy people don't walk around crapping on other people, okay? Happy people walk around cheering you on, even if it's not for them, even if they don't want to do it. They will cheer you on. If they were genuinely a happy person, they will say, I am happy for you, right? Unhappy people are the ones that are going to try to crap on you. They're the ones that are going to send you those negative, mean messages back. And they're going to try to project that hate onto you. And so this is me telling you what exactly that is. And so the next time that happens, you can be smart enough to recognize it for exactly what it is. You don't have to let that story create your story. And you can move on. You can be tough enough to not let it crumble your belief. All right. So we got the 5 things. We got habits. We got community. And we've got belief. And that's all I got for you guys tonight. What do you guys think? Those are my notes. I'm going to put them up.
Friggin' mic drop. I know Melanie's hand's probably hurting because I saw her writing so much.
You have on my screen. I was like, oh, they're actually taking notes.
What questions do you guys have for Amanda, or if there was anything specific that resonated with you? I know it always is special to me to hear when I speak on team calls, like what touched you. I'm sure she would love to hear that.
I love connecting with you guys.
Don't be bashful.
I'll go. I wasn't sure. Her screen came back on, so I thought she was gonna go. But I just love, and you know this, I love your energy, like just seeing your energy and how, because we started the business about the same time ish. So just seeing like the way you've manifested your energy to be so positive and push those back to your habits and the business.
Yes. I love that. I actually drank Energize before getting on this call with you guys because I'm tired, but I'm like, I'm not going to get on this call and be tired. I'm going to get on. Energy is so important to me. And I hope that when you guys hear me speak, like, I'm so glad you said that, Allie, because I want you guys to borrow my energy and then just like go forth and do your business until you have it of your own to do. Like, borrow my belief if you don't have it, and borrow my energy if you're still looking for it.
Jamie also said, I love the stories we tell ourselves. Is so true. We just actually talked, Jamie and I talked about that last week about like, you know, you tell yourself you're not good enough, and then it kind of just, it's a catalyst, and it just makes the negative thoughts continue. So
Definitely.
I loved it. Love it. Love it.
I have this picture in my phone. So Josh Coates, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but I love his style. So he has your head voice and your heart voice. And your head voice is totally scarcity. It is the negative thoughts. And the thing about your head voice, it is subconscious. Like, it is just like, oh, somewhere we heard this. I don't even know where, but now it's stuck in my head, and it's the negative. I don't even remember all of like the adjectives he used to describe head, because you can just recognize a head story like that. If you're familiar with Bob Heilig, this would be your red light story. So your heart voice, I know, because for me, it is like my portal of talking to God. So like your heart voice is faith, it's hope, it's love, it's abundance, it's strength, it's confidence. And so for me, it's like my heart voice is, well, what would faith say about that? What would God say about that? What would strength say about that? What would confidence say about that? So if you're not even sure, like the story, then just go back and, well, what would confidence say about this story? What would, you know what I'm saying? And so for me personally, it's like, how would God speak over this in my life? And yeah, God's not going to speak those negative self-spiraling stories. Like, it can be anything. I used to think, well, I can't be successful until I have 10,000 followers on Instagram. Just because I was following someone who had 10,000 followers and had a successful business, right? I was telling myself that if I didn't have that, then I wasn't going to be successful. Or maybe your story is like, well, if I don't send 100 invites a day, I'm not going to hit Success Club. But really, that is just your story that you're telling yourself. Because for me, it's like, well, I'm not going to sit down and send 100 cold messages every day. But what I can do is I can go balls to the wall on my own Instagram. I can share me as the mom that I am, the kind of hot mess mom that I am. I can vouch to say that I'm not a nutritionist and I'm not a personal trainer, but this is how I was feeling before. And I implemented this solution, and this is how I'm feeling now. And that will connect me with the right people, and I will organically send those invites to those people. And so it no longer feels icky to me, because I'm just sharing my truth. And that's, I guess, like something I didn't have written down, but I want you guys to realize that your truth and your story, your like real life story, is your superpower. It is your superpower. Like, we all have a different story for a God-given reason. And it is because it's your story that he wants to share with the world through you. And if you're not showing up as yourself, then it is going to feel icky. You are going to feel that friction. You are going to feel that restriction on like what you're capable of. But if you just share your truth, you're going to, you know, slowly but surely connect with your people. And I think that's, gosh, I got on this whole tangent now. But when you realize that you don't have to connect with everyone, you only have to connect with the other yous out there. That's so freeing to me. I don't have to connect with the mom that doesn't think like me and doesn't like me and is judgy and is, I don't have to connect with her. I just have to connect with the other me's out there. So for me to find the other me's, I have to show up as me, right? Just like you have to show up as you, however that is. Okay, keep going. Somebody else speak up and chat with me. You never know what you might get.
I have a question because I'm sure they're all thinking it. Because how do you have energy at 8:45 at night besides drinking Energize? When you are having days that you're like, I don't want to do this, or like shit's hitting the fan or whatever, where do you borrow your energy from? And how do you find that to make your community, your team, your business, your freedom, everything you're doing this for a priority? Like, how do you borrow that, or where do you borrow that energy, or where are some resources that they could borrow that energy from?
Yeah. So, I'll be honest with you guys, this year was the January and February were very tough months for me. Very tough. I got COVID in January. My whole house then got COVID. Like, you guys, you don't know my living situation, but I'm sharing a house right now with my husband's parents. So like, you guys can just chat in the chat right now. Like, how many of you feel that you could never do that? Because that'll weigh on your mental self too. And it was just hard. And then we got the stomach bug, and then Lucas quit his job to go, start his own business. And so it was just like all of these things. And even now with me helping run his businesses, that negative story will creep in sometimes and be like, well, is it even worth doing? Like I could just go do his business and that would be sufficient enough. But, yeah, for the past year, it can be real hard. And, so how do I push through that? And I think it's just coming back to, when all you guys started, did you do like a 5-year vision? Did you write down, like, did you do this exercise? It's like, if there were no no's in your life, like, what would your life look like? And so for me, it's kind of like a little bit of reflection time and thinking about how far I have come since that day. And then just truly realizing that, like, it's bigger than me, right? Which feels it can feel not true at times, but again, that's just that negative story. You have to tell yourself it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you, because think about the people that you won't reach if you quit right now. And think about how this business has changed your life, and all those people needing what you have right now if you don't continue. And I know it's so tricky to believe sometimes, but there's so many people looking up to each and every one of you. And if you stop doing it, then you're just another story in their head of why MLMs don't work, of why that's why I didn't sign up, because they knew she'd quit, of why, it's so much bigger than you. And so when you're in that mental spiral, the beginning of the year was really tough for me. I had to start making my mental health a priority, for sure, because if you don't make time to get, your own brain straight, that crap will catch up with you and it won't be very fun. So some things that I started to do is I read the Bible first thing in the morning. And then I did a 10-minute meditation. And the great thing about all of us is that we all have bots. So we've all got access to great meditations. And I have done those 21 days of meditations probably like 90 freaking times, but they work. And so that's how I started to start my day. I would work from my computer and not from my phone. And right now I'm doing a challenge where, like, I want my scroll time to like 0 to none. Like, after I've connected for the day, I don't want to be on there just scrolling, because we think that scrolling winds us down, but it does not. It burns you down. And so when you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and you're not working your business, what you're subconsciously doing is you're getting stuck in the comparison game. And that's a trap. You don't need to be comparing yourself and your business to anyone else's self and their business. Definitely not the person. Repeat this over and over in your head. If I would not go to them for advice, I'm not going to compare my life to them, right? Like, I'm not going to ask the person who's never been where I want to go how to get there. So I don't need to see what they're doing. And what they think of what I'm doing is none of my business. So that was the first thing I did is I started reading the Bible every morning. Definitely before I scrolled Facebook and Instagram, I did a meditation. At the end of the day, when all the things were done, I would do one of Autumn's 10-minute stretches. Even though I wasn't doing 9-week control freak, I would do a 10-minute stretch. And then I would put my phone down. And I'm sitting out here in my kitchen right now, and this is where my phone charger is. My phone charger is not next to my bed. I wake up with an alarm clock. I don't wake up with my phone. And those small practices, put those small practices into your life with your workout, with your shake, add in some personal development, and take care of you. And then realize, here's the thing. If I'm working out, if I'm drinking my shake, if I'm doing my personal development, why would I quit? Because I'm doing it anyways. All I have to do is organically share that with the world. I'm telling, like, if you guys, most of the time when I'm struggling, the hardest is when I've fallen out of personal development. So like, if you guys need some book recommendations, sometimes you do need those pump up, confident books. Sometimes you need a business book. It's okay if you read 3 business books and then you decide I'm in a bad mental state right now, I need a confidence book again. Nothing wrong with that. You've got to stick on your you've got to stick on your journey. After I get through my book right now, I'm going back to a confidence book because I just kind of feel like I want to keep this momentum going. Keisha Fitzgerald and the She Goes podcast is great. They're not that long. They're like 15 minutes. And I aspire to have her energy. So like, if you need someone to listen to for some energy real quick, she's amazing. Did that help? Was that helpful? It's not always.
It's funny hearing you say these things because it's so true. I'll just, for my own plug, like Amanda's so right, being with 6 other coaches in DR and people start saying, oh, did you see this person did this in their life and this person did this? And honestly, I didn't even know what they're talking about because I don't follow other coaches. And Allie knows all the time. She's like, oh, do you see this? I'm like, I have no idea because I want to spend my time in my community and my team with the people that I want to work with. And anybody else, I love them. But guess what? All their pages are public and I can go see them when the other stuff is done. So it's true. Most of y'all all work full time and you wonder why you don't have time. And it's probably because you're doing this. So the little things Amanda talked about is true. And the other plug I will give for our team is she has been on Zoom every single morning doing her work before her kids get up. So she is present. And yes, she's not going to a 40-hour job like many of y'all are, but how can you set yourself up with this new test group to better align your life for what you want? And it's always controlling your time and doing those seemingly small, insignificant things. I swear to you, the reason my business is where it is because I've never missed a day of reading 10 minutes a day. It is so simple, so freaking simple, but it's a choice. Like she said, it's a habit. And so I just want to commend you because it's true. Like those little things matter and they add up over time. And it sets the example for what your kids are going to do. You guys are a lot of you on here are moms. And so what do you want your kids to think when they grow up? That anything is possible when they show up consistently and they're hard workers and they believe in themselves. Like you're setting the blueprint for what's possible when you get out of your own way and go do the damn thing. So I won't make this a long call because you totally crushed it, but
let me plug in there real quick before we end it. Okay. Since you brought up the kids thing, I love thinking of this. If my son or my daughter ever came to me and said, Mommy, I want to do fill in the blank. And same for you guys, you would say, yes, baby, you can do it. You can do anything you want to do. Set your mind to it. Go for it. Doesn't matter what the odds are stacked against you. You put your head down, you can do it. Right? Wouldn't we all tell our kids that? Like, when we all believe that energy over them? But then we say like, well, I want to start a side hustle and get my hours down to part-time and put in this energy here. And what do? Instantly start talking ourselves out of it for why it's not possible. Instantly. So it's flipping that script for ourselves to then, because here's the thing, they're going to do what we do, not just what we say we do. And my son is, he's getting a little bit older, and the potty training is messing up my morning work a bit because he's pee-peeing on the potty now when he wakes up, not in the pull-up. And so he's coming out of his room and he wants to go potty, and then he doesn't want to go back in his room. And I'm in this push group and I'm on Zoom, and he knows mommy works until this time so that then mommy can be with you. Okay. So he gets up in the bed and he's watching these videos. So, he doesn't know what's going on, but he's watching. He knows now, and he comes in, he's like, mommy, let me say hi. And then this morning was Sunday, and he came in the room. He was like, mommy, where's Josh? Because he knew that I said we have to watch Josh. No, it's not how I want to do it. But if I commit that time, if I don't feel bad saying mommy has to work right now so that mommy can be with you later. Because mommy is going to be with you later, and I'm going to be undevoted to you. And like, my goal when I'm with my kids is to put my phone away. That's the goal. Like, maybe bring it out and take a cute video of them because they're freaking adorable, but not to be working while they're awake. I know that everyone thinks like stay-at-home moms have all this time, and maybe I could work my business when they're awake, but that is not the goal. The goal is freedom. And so freedom to me is working around them. Allie, you've been on my brain, and I want to use this as an example before we like hop off here. Allie, you're a nurse though, correct?
I'm a PA, but.
So how long did you go to school for that career?
So undergrad was 4 years and then 2.5 of PA school.
Okay, so 6.5 years of an uphill climb, of really hard stuff, of putting your head down and of focusing on this goal. But you knew after 6.5 years, you'd have that degree and you'd have that job.
Right.
One of the times that I wanted to quit the most in this business was when I was offered a full-time job with a salary I had never had. And it was so freaking tempting. And then I started reading 10X rule. And he was like, if you put all that time into this business, like, what if we put 6.5 years of that energy into this business and then see where we'll be? I cannot promise you X amount of dollars, but can pretty much guarantee you a successful life you're proud of, but it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time to build that compound effect. And Allie, I knew that you had this career, and I knew that you went to school for it. So I was like, if more people, like Maggie had a conversation with me one time. She's like, I can't promise that you'll have that salary next year, but I promise if you put your head down and you focus hard, you will have more than that salary and way more freedom and be way more fulfilled, because she knows me and she knows what I actually want out of life. And so instead of taking the easy way out just to make a paycheck, I decided to stick to my guns and my heart and continue through. So that was another tangent. I respect your guys' time though. I won't take up all night.
Yeah, I'll just say
I just wanted,
go
ahead.
for it, Melanie. No, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, I wanted to speak to it from going the opposite way. I've been at my job 9 years this year, climbed up the corporate ladder, did the whole thing, got the certifications, whatever, and making one of the top salaries, have the big house with the fun cars and all the things. And it's not it. Like, there's still something missing. That's why I'm here. You know what I mean? That's why, even though I've been in and out 500 times, there's a reason why I keep coming back to y'all. And it's like, I do follow all of you guys still because you guys are my inspiration. I've recently started following you, Amanda. I've followed Maggie for a while. She and I connected a while ago because we have similar backgrounds in childcare and things like that. But
Yes,
trying to do it the opposite way is definitely difficult. And that's my current struggle, is trying to figure out how to make time to plug into all of it, because I can't just give up this giant salary that we're now used to. We do now have a 5-year plan, and the getting there is hard, for sure. And I definitely got stuck in the hard, but y'all, I just wanted to give a big thank you to you guys, because you keep me coming back and you keep me believing that there is more. We can do it.
You can absolutely do it. And there's such power. Like, we talk about like sitting down and dedicating like an hour to business, but sometimes that just like isn't your life. Maybe that's not your season right now, but there is definitely power in a 15-minute intentional pocket here. And then on your lunch break, that 30 intentional minutes. And then after you put the kids to bed, 15 to 20 more intentional minutes. And they're like, that might be your season right now, but if you're super freaking intentional with those moments, you can work and build this business. I know you can, because I know everyone is capable of it. It is just those choices and those habits that we create for ourselves. But love you. And I'm so glad you spoke up.
Yeah, I was going to say, keep building you guys. Like, use this test group now it always goes back to you. And everything Amanda said, like, income comes when you grow you. It doesn't come because you want the income. It comes when you make the impact, and the impact starts when you make it on yourself first. So as we kick off 4-week tomorrow, go all in. Make it your time to do something differently than what you've done before. Stick to the nutrition plan. See how you feel. I promise you, your energy will be different. You will want to show up because you will feel so good. And I just thank you, Amanda, for giving your time away from your family. So proud of you. Give Lucas a big hug. Tell him we miss our team dinners, and we want more of you guys there in Mexico next year, because even Amanda was saying on the DR trip, she's like, yeah, I don't know about Summit, but like now she knows her butt better freaking be there.
The first thing I told my team when I got back was, you better fucking be a Summit. I love Jesus, but I cuss a little bit. But I was like, I'm just imagining this big hotel slumber party, and I needed my whole team to come slumber party it up with me. And let me tell you, since I've been coaching only since 2020, they've all been virtual. I've never even been to one, but I know that these are placed strategically throughout the year to give us the fire that we need to keep going. And so, like, get off this call and go buy your ticket right now. I don't care if you put it on your credit card and then go sell 3 challenge packs this week to pay it off. Yep.
On that note, thank you, Amanda. We love you, girl. Can't wait to see you at Summit. Thank y'all for staying on. I appreciate you. And let's go rock day 1 tomorrow. Hi, we'll see you on Zoom in the morning. Bye, guys.
Love you guys.